widely used technique in jazz is side-slipping. Now this technique can be used both in an improvisation and in the harmony. Now I've already got a separate video where I talk about using side-slipping during an improvisation, but as a quick summary, all it involves is playing a phrase, then repeating that same phrase but either a semitone higher or lower, and then moving back and playing the original phrase again before continuing on with your solo. So in the key of C major, something like... So we play a little phrase, then slip to the side and play that same phrase, then slip back and play that same phrase again, and continue on in the original scale. So you're essentially creating a little sequence or transposing the phrase out a semitone before coming back, and this creates tension very briefly before quickly resolving it. So it sounds quite nice and quite interesting and quite cool, I think. Now we can do the exact same thing but in the harmony. So you play a chord, then play that same chord type but a semitone higher or lower, then return back to the original chord. Right, so essentially all of your fingers move down, in this case, a semitone, and then come back. So in this case we played a D minor 7 going to a D flat minor 7 back to the D minor 7. So a good way to practice this technique is over a 2-5-1. So let's take a 2-5-1 in C and just strum the chords, so play it on every beat. Now we're going to do that exact same thing, but do our side slipping on beat 2 and before coming back to the original chord on beat 3. Right, so we're doing that in our left hand, then you can solo a little bit in your right hand. Alternately, you could do a bass line in your left hand and the chords with the side slipping in your right hand. And then try slipping to the side at different parts of the bar, so on the 3 and beat, or the 4 and, or the 1 and, or even on the beat, on beats 2, 3 or 4. Then, rather than strumming on every single beat, try incorporating this technique into comping. And obviously you don't have to use this technique on every single chord in every single bar. Just use it occasionally and in different parts of the bar, so on different beats. So taking a 12-bar blues, you could do something like... Right, so this technique works especially well when you sit on one chord for a long period of time, and especially if there's nothing happening in the melody, if there's just a long rest or if you're sitting on a long note in the melody. And this is because it just inserts a little bit more movement into the harmony. So over that 12-bar blues that I just played, I started on the C for 1 bar, then go to the F for 1 bar, then I go to the C for 2 bars. But that's kind of boring, right? I'm just playing the same chord for 2 bars now. So instead of just having that single harmonic structure, that single chord just sitting there for 2 bars, chuck in some side slipping. Automatically sounds like you're adding some stuff in. It's like a little passing chord, really. But you're adding in some harmonic movement that makes it much more interesting to listen to, I think, than just sitting on one chord for, 2 or 3 or 4 bars, or whatever it may be. And like I said, make sure you side slip at different points in the bar, and both up and down, because that's what creates that variety, right? So when I played that, the first time I slipped down, next time I slipped up, which creates a slightly different feel, right? Going up always creates a little bit more energy because you're increasing in pitch before, dropping back down into the correct chord. So while this is a conceptually simple technique, it's actually relatively hard to do on piano if you haven't practiced this before. Because in piano we have these, uneven asymmetrical black notes, you kind of have to adjust your fingers a little bit to get to get every finger down a semitone exactly, and then back again. It's obviously much easier on fretted instruments like guitar, because you literally just take the chord shape, slip up, slip back down, which is why guitarists use it a lot. But it's also widely used on piano, and you should know how to do something like this on piano as well. So practice it up and incorporate it into your playing, because it's very, very widely used. Like I said, every single pianist or jazz musician out there uses this technique. And because it's relatively simple and it sounds cool. Awesome, thanks for watching guys. That's it for this lesson. See ya.